Okay, welcome again. Now is our discussion segment, and we want to look at creating opportunities for youth in agriculture. This is farming time. A lot of people have come back to farm, but I wonder whether these youths that are parade as streets are in the farm too. So we want to look at this morning. Thank you once again for joining us. And somebody has joined us to talk about it. It's Mr. Edwin Ejike
Urebe.
Sorry, I didn't get it right. Urebe. Okay. Welcome. Ejike is Secretary, Rice Farmers Association, Anambra State.
Precisely.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to our studios.
Thank you.
Have you been here?
Of course, I do come for ABS program every Saturday.
In radio?
Yes, for agriculture.
Okay. This is ABS TV.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, and I'm still here with Dave Okpokwa.
Welcome. Join us. Let's look at this important topic.
Okay. Now, when we talk about agriculture, one will start. You start thinking of farming and all the rest of things. Agriculture is clearly portrayed as or promoted in the media as a young person's job, can be seen as outdated, unprofitable, and a hard work. You know, when you think of farming and exerting all the energy in raising your whole and not knowing that everything has changed. Okay, that's why I say greater awareness of the benefits of agriculture as a career for youth need to be created, and that's exactly what we are cut out to do this morning with the guest that has joined us. Dave.
All right. Like we pointed out, agriculture is a very important aspect. Just next week, the governor will flatten out the new farming season. Maybe let's begin from there. How prepared are the rice farmers for this new farming season?
Okay. Truly, we are getting preparing. In the sense that we had meeting last week, and we know that it always comes every year. So we are prepared to participate heavily in the program.
Now, several programs or policies have been created for rice farmers in Anambra to say that we increase that value chain in agriculture. Can you tell us, let's take a review. Do you think enough improvements have been made over the years?
Precisely. Actually, one among all that can boast about agriculture in Anambra State, because I started from scratch in 2012, but today among the millionaires in terms of agriculture. In 2015, I began to process rice. So with the help of the governor, by assisting us buying the rice, even after cultivation. So I can boast that today I'm a millionaire. I'm making it through agriculture.
That's good. Thank you very much. Okay, we know that agriculture is number one pillar in His Excellency Willie Obiano's administration. Agreeably, he has a very high potential for empowerment and employment generation, food security, and poverty reduction. Now, how would you, being one of the millionaires that agriculture has met recently, how would you assess the agricultural development in Anambra State after 5 years of Obiano's administration?
Honestly, I must be frank with you. Since 5 years, the production or the cultivation of farm input or agricultural produce grows geometrically. In the sense that if you look around Anambra today, you can have Anambra rice. Youth have engaged in agriculture, planting rice. If you talk about cassava, gari is very cheap in Anambra State. Before, one pinta cost 1,200. Last 4 or 5 years ago, but today it's less than 200 naira.
And this is production of gari, I suppose.
Yes. So now it's about 180 naira per painter. That custard paint.
Really?
200 naira at the local market. 180 to 200 naira. But before it's 1,200. You talk about rice. At least Anambra rice is one of the best in the whole world. I must say it clearly. Because the nutritional part of it outweighs other rice cultivated in other states or other countries. The taste alone will give you natural taste.
Of rice.
Yes, of rice.
Yeah, talking about the price of gari that you just mentioned,
Yes.
that it used to be 1,200 naira for a painter.
Before.
And now is about 200 naira.
With 180 to 200
So how
naira.
does it affect the farmer? Because I know when the prices drop, it affects the farmer's pockets. You know.
Okay. Actually, in terms of that issue, farmers always cry. They do cry because of the drop of the price. But because of, when you cultivate, you process, and you sell, you must do it because it's your profession. You don't change your profession. So we're still on it. Even other people like those in government work, those in the market, they also plant cassava
I
now.
was actually going to ask you, why do you think that the price dropped? Because it doesn't appear everybody's now, has heeded to the call of the government to get back to the farms. I'm a farmer too. I don't know how you do.
But on this issue of drop in price,
Yes.
I believe that maybe because of the policies that have been made, the cost of production have reduced, and you still make your maximum gain even the
Yes.
drop. Now, what is that policy that you think basically impacted on this development that was modeled by this government?
Oh.
That you think that can also encourage more youth to begin to explore opportunities in agriculture?
Thank you. Not minding that the price drop. What made the price to drop is from government.
Okay.
First of all, before there was no tractor to cultivate acres of land you want to plant. Now government made it available for us in ADP, Agriculture Department. Apart from that, government provided seedlings, cassava stem that mature within 6 months to 9 months. So unlike the one we had before that mature 2 years time.
Okay,
If
6
you-
months to 9 months.
Yes.
And it's still ready for consumption.
Yes, very, very. And the bountiful harvest there is another thing. Unlike the other one, when you uproot up to 2 to 3 chain. It won't get up to 1 bag. But now, if you uproot maybe a quarter chain, you get enough tubers you want. In terms of
Doing a very great job in this sector.
truly,
People rarely hear about this.
yeah, it's true. Even in terms of rice, there's a program called Value Chain in Agriculture.
Yes,
VCDP.
we are coming to that.
Okay,
But
so
now, let's get back to the farming season. We know that Governor Willie Obiano, while launching 2018 farming season, he said he will intensify efforts at promoting food sufficiency in the state. Of course, that's exactly what we are seeing now, and then create opportunities for the youth to venture in agriculture. You know, when we talk about youth engaging in agriculture, you think it's just going to carry your knife and your
I find
here, well, those mechanization, processes that have been put in place that will encourage the youth to go into farming.
Okay, thank you. In terms of youth engaging in agriculture, that the governor is planning, truly it will come to pass. We are preparing a proposal that will tell the truth, the impact of it if youth comes to agriculture. So the proposal goes like this: if governor is planning to develop acres of land for cultivation, the problem with farmers are having is land preparation. So without preparing the land, you are cultivating nothing. So governor is preparing heavily. Even the meeting we had with him last year, August. So he made mention of it very, very well and clear. That he brought money for land development. So when you develop land, at least you've made the 50% of the production cost. Yes, this is Anambra rice. Yes, Wisdom Park.
Let us more on this issue of land development. Some of us might not actually understand what it means to develop land in agriculture.
Thank you. When you get an arable land in agriculture that has followed for years, so the governor is planning to develop it by getting the town. Number one, he must discuss with the town that owns the land. When you discuss with them, we reach agreement with them. Then governor will bring caterpillars that will clear the bush.
What kind of agreement? A lease agreement?
It may be a lease or give away to government, but you know, our people, they value land much, so they don't go in the other way of giving away the land to the government directly. So they prefer lease.
Okay.
So, still on this, whenever you talk about agriculture, they will say anadro. So, how do we get it right? How do we change that mindset for people to begin to see that there are still opportunities, there are things they can do to start the farming process?
Actually, what they're saying is almost truth. We find it difficult to get land to cultivate enough. You know, there are some youths that want to cultivate up to 50 hectares in terms of cultivation, but because of lack of land, they will cultivate maybe 2 or 3 hectares. So,
is it not more proper to start small?
When a plant small, it means hands to mouth, not intensive farming. When we talk about intensive farming, we'll talk about getting money from it, not hand to mouth.
Okay.
When you cultivate for the one you will eat.
We're still looking at creating opportunities for youths in agriculture, and I would like to find out from you: are there youths that are presently engaging in agriculture now in the States?
Actually, heavily, and others are still coming, still want to engage, but because of the issue of but because of this issue of land, availability of land, it makes them to draw back. Just like in IML, Oka North, to get a half hectare of land to cultivate, you pay 15,000 naira. Are you getting me? Yes. So it increases the cost of production. But if there is land, it will be okay. So my suggestion to that is just very simple. If government will embed this my idea, that's what they're using.
Getting land for the youth.
Yes, getting land.
Most of them that are participating now, are there specific areas that are showing interest, like in cultivation of rice, poultry, and all those ones? Are there areas, specific areas that the youth are showing more interest in agriculture?
Actually, when you travel to IML, Oka North, Obaru side, we will see some youth that are graduates, BSc holders. They don't even want to travel again or or travel to other state or other country or in the town, urban area to seek for employment. They engage properly in agriculture and they're making their livelihood from there.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's now get over to the street and talk to some people who are coming back.
Olu ugbo ma masie mma ike etu na ụbọchị si wa dị ma ala ike ka ụmụ ikolobịa wee taa aka n'ọlụ ugbo o nwere ka aga ụgwọ ụmụ ikolobịa onye bụla ga na-emetụ ego aka ezigbote ego dị n'ọlụ ugbo na eji emepụta ibe dilie na-azụ ụmụaka
There's a saying in Igbo that says, "Avulukwe, seeing is believing." For me to believe there are opportunities in agriculture, I have to see a lot of business ventures into it. Like in terms of the fishery and the poultry aspects, we have to see the outcome in it and making sure the youth were able to get like the loan effects and giving them a little interest on it. The awareness has to be superfluous for them to know that there are a lot of business opportunity in agriculture that we can benefit from.
Agriculture talks about what we use daily, what we eat, so it's something that we're all supposed to put our hands into to make sure that tomorrow to bring out something good for us.
Through empowerment by the government and let an awareness and let the youth know that they can venture into it and also support them.
This innovation of getting them into agriculture is a very good thing. And I can assure you, if they can be taken to agricultural places like Ibariama and all these riverine areas of Anambra State, and let them see that it is not all that hard job, that there are recreational things to there. After the hours of work, there are things to enjoy. If they can go there and then money made available, because the youth is interested in having something in his pocket. If you take him to that place and make sure that at the end of the week or at the end of the month, a stipend is given to them, at least for now, they will submit. Agriculture is very good. Fishery, poultry farming, snail farming. These are very good areas. And it does not require much money to go into these areas. A few, 200,000-300,000 naira can put somebody up. And you don't call a graduate and give him 10 naira and say you should go and start farming. No. You give him something bulky. Because his education is inside his head. He'll be thinking of himself as somebody who had read and obtained a degree. You call him, you give him a little money, and then you set him up with somebody who didn't go to school. He will feel cheated. But if you give him something big, make him have a kind of corporate connections around him, he will go.
We can get them involved in agriculture by letting the government know that is the most important aspect of agriculture. We need government to employ the youths. The government need to buy tractors, every necessary machineries that are needed. We have many farmlands. You buy those tractors, build facilities, employ the youths, train them on how to use those machines. You go by mechanized system of farming. Through that means, our people will understand that there is something achievable in agriculture.
Welcome back. We are still looking at creating opportunities for youth in agriculture, and you have heard the people we talked to in the street and their contributions. I will still have our guest in the house, Mr. Edwin BGK Urebe. I got it this time.
Urebe.
Okay, welcome again.
Thank you.
Okay, now there have been so many calls from government for youth to engage in agriculture. But I know how people say if you send a child to catch a smelly rat, that's it.
You give him water.
Provide water for him to wash his hands.
Exactly.
Now, what will you say the government has put in place to encourage youth to engage in agriculture by way of incentives, money, and all the rest of things?
Thank you. I could remember 2015, governor provides seed rice for the farmers. I'm among those that handle it. So we give the seed free for the farmers in terms of them to pay back by giving. If we give them 1 bag, they will bring 2 bags after cultivation. Are you getting rice seed?
Then after cultivation, you bring back 2.
You bring back 2.
So that you will have enough to give.
To give others, and they didn't pay anything. Even 1 naira is free. That is a hybrid seed that yields up to 5 to 7 tons per hectare. But
sorry, what were the criteria for each person that you give? Is it that he must have had a farm or something? What do you look at before you give out those seeds to any person you feel is qualified? What qualifies someone to be given the bag of the seed?
Okay, thank you very much. Before you are qualified to be given the seed. We look at whether you are in our association called Rice Farmers Association, because in every local government, in every town, we'll have chairman in every ward, secretary, so they will identify you that you are one of them.
Before you are giving seeds?
Yes.
Okay, that's just one of the sentences. What
yes.
are other things?
Another one, in terms of value chain VCDP, when you pay, when they give you fertilizer, they will give fertilizer, seed rice, chemicals, and you pay 50% of the money. Then
50% of the money is like how much?
Maybe fertilizer is about 6,000-7,000. You pay half of it.
Okay.
So apart from that, there are a lot of training. Like there's a time the government sent some farmers to this place, Ilori, to learn how to hybrid seed. So and they were paid also heavily. I heard that some people receive up to 400 to 700,000 naira each farmer. So they're not doing it here. So we're having seed.
Okay, and since they came back?
So, yes, you can get.
Able to implement what they learned.
Of course.
Okay.
Yes.
On which area?
In some in Ayamelum or more if some in all kind of Oba, some in Obaru side. So there are many incentives.
We have access to some of those things that ordinarily are not in Anambra.
Yes.
Right.
Apart from that, this every Christmas, governor do buy rice to share to the civil servants. Yes, to give civil servants. So he's buying from us. After cultivating them, harvesting, governor will buy from us.
Really?
That make the market very sweet. So you don't.
Very sweet. What about mechanization, tractorization, sustainable take-off grants, and then storage is very important to us.
Okay.
When you have excess production, the government buy for you to store it.
Okay. Actually, in terms of storage, like rice in terms of rice, to store rice, so farmers are not looking at it difficult or finding it difficult to get rice stored, because immediately you cultivate, harvest, you see buyer.
You see buyers.
Immediately.
Like now we'll have boom in Gary production. Is there any way you prepare Gary to store it for when it will be scarce? Because now they're removing cassavas from the farm. That's why we have it now, to plant another one. But after planting, the scarcity comes in. Is there any form of storage you have made to take care of that season?
Actually, in terms of scarcity in Gary, is 0%.
In Anambra.
In Anambra. Then, now there are some companies that buy tubers. If you have enough, they can buy from you. There isn't the tubers to produce starch. They are here in Anambra. There's one in Abia State. No matter the quantity, no matter how many tons, trailers, they will buy from you.
Good.
So, because one of the focus this morning is on the youths. Now, one of the fears that youth have is the takeoff, like you pointed out, the takeoff grant to start. The fear of how do I raise funds, how do I sustain in that early stage where I've not started making income. What do you think should be done in that aspect? Because it seems as if it's good news, and there are no challenges. What are those things that you think that will face a young person that wants to get into the business, and how are the ways that you could manage the startup level?
The problem we are having now in terms of youth engaging in agriculture, truly, finance is there and the availability of land, as I said before. But my idea and suggestion is that if government will be able to develop enough land, maybe in a given area or in different, let's say they start from one area, develop enough land. That's the proposal I want to write now. I have it before. Then after developing enough land, there will be like just hostel in the farm where you can come and stay and do his farm work.
Like in a farm settlement.
A farm settlement, exactly. Then that land the government develop will be portioned to each youth that has interest. Maybe 5 hectares per youth.
Okay.
Then the governor will bring the inputs, the rice seed, the chemical, the fertilizer. After planting, then the government will take their money where they sell the output. The government will take the money, invest in the production. Then the youth will take the rest.
Okay.
Are you getting me? That would be a wonderful. So there will nothing like having a problem of money, finance. I'm telling you.
Yes.
We'll go,
As of mechanization and tractors, I know that you don't cultivate all these things with your hands.
At all.
Okay, and government has provided tractors.
There's enough tractor in ADP. If you want to hire, you go there, you pay. They will come and do the work. I think they are charging now 20,000 per hectare.
Okay.
And that is
okay. We'll have to.
It's okay.
Okay, we'll have to go. But before we go, we would like you to talk to the youths, to encourage them to invest, or they don't have anything to invest, to venture in agriculture, for them to find, to help us industrialize this area, because that's what drives the developed nations. Agriculture drives all the industries in developed nations. So encourage our youth to come in.
Actually, I made mention of this before. A nation cannot say to be rich not until the lowest income earner eat 3 square meal in a right proportion and in a balanced diet form. Apart from that, you should know that from creation, there's no other industry established by God after creating the world. It's agriculture. So other industry came after that. So in agriculture, there are many chances. Not until you go and cultivate, carry cutlass, we can educate you, we can tell you what and what to do, counsel you, then take you where you will make it. I think we've done it. There's one man from Lagos that came. He's a wealthy man. He came to Anambra. I've been hearing about Anambra rice. He's from Oruku. So I educate him, tell him what to do. He cultivated up to 50 hectares.
Really?
Yes. And he made it heavily. So for youth, I'm encouraging you to come and engage in agriculture. Stop looking for white-collar job that will not give you enough. Come. If you cultivate 1 hectare of rice, I'm telling you,
you're already a millionaire.
You make enough money.
What were you doing before you ventured into agriculture?
I finished my study and there's no work. So.
And then you went to agriculture. You see what I'm saying? You see it, and now he's a millionaire. I'm sure it's not just him.
There are many of us.
Okay, you have heard him. Thank you very much, Mr. Edwin Ejike Urebe. Urebe. Oh no, I think it's Urebe.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
He's the Secretary of Rice Farmers Association, Anambra State. We'd like to thank you very much for joining us this morning. You really made our day, and I'm sure that a lot of you are, having fulfilled.
We are there for them. Free. Come for counseling, come for training. Free.
Free. This is good. Thank you. Well, you have heard it, and just like I said, I'm already a farmer, but I want to, explore some other areas with Dave.
Exactly. Especially poultry. I think I have a little bit of experience there.
Poultry. Oh, really? Okay, that's beautiful. Thank you very much. Thank you, the Good Morning Anambra crew, the producer, the director, the executive director, and all the people. Well, thank you very much for making it happen this morning. Remember, we still have to bring you the news at 9 o'clock, and then the sports that will follow. My name is Ijoma Uche, and I've been around with Dave Omokwasile.
I am Dave Omokwasile. Thank you for joining us this morning. Let's make tomorrow a better day.
All right, you have a good day.